The lights inside the arena dimmed, and a low rumble moved through the crowd like an approaching storm. It wasn't just noise, it was anticipation. The kind that brews when two fighters from opposite ends of the world step forward to test not just their skill, but their soul. On one side stood Nihito Arakawa, Japan's rugged, iron-hearted warrior, the Japanese and Oriental Pacific lightweight champion. Walking toward the ring with the calm intensity of a man who had never once backed down from hardship. His record wasn't built on highlight reel knockouts. It was built on grit, willpower, and the refusal to say enough. On the other side, the Venezuelan artist, Jorge El Niño de Oro Linares, flowed toward the ropes with elegance, confidence, and that unmistakable air of a man who had been touched by boxing genius since childhood. Two-time world champion, master technician, a fighter blessed with hands as sharp as knives and footwork that seemed to glide on rails. They met under the lights, pausing in the center as the referee delivered his final instructions. You could see the difference instantly. Arakawa, stocky and ready to press forward like a storm surge. Linares, loose and fluid, blinking with the calm of a surgeon about to work. The bell rang, crisp and loud, slicing through the noise. And immediately Linares began carving space, sliding and changing angles, tapping Arakawa with quick jabs and clean right hands. But Arakawa didn't blink. Like a soldier marching through artillery fire, he kept stepping forward, trying to cut off the ring, trying to turn this elegant dance into a trench war. And so the tone was set. Speed versus pressure, finesse versus willpower, art versus iron. No one knew yet how long the battle would stretch, but from the opening seconds, everyone in the arena understood one truth: this would not be a quiet night. As the early rounds unfolded, Linares displayed why his name was whispered with respect by purists across the globe. He boxed beautifully, drawing lines in the air with each punch. A snapping jab here, a slicing right hand through Arakawa's guard, a left hook that snapped the chin but didn't slow the Japanese warrior. What made Arakawa special wasn't the beauty of his punches, it was the relentlessness behind them. His head movement was subtle but persistent, rolling just enough to absorb shots without ever stepping backward. He kept pressing, stepping into the pocket even as Linares fired dazzling combinations. The footwork of the Venezuelan was on full display. He pivoted away from the ropes, fired a double jab, then an uppercut that landed so clean the crowd gasped. Yet Arakawa kept coming, taking the blows, absorbing them, bending with them, trusting his chin and his spirit to carry him into the later rounds where he believed Linares would fade. Because that was the story with the Venezuelan star. Brilliance as bright as the sun, but a chin that sometimes betrayed him. A durability that had failed him during wars with Diego DeMarco and Sergio Thompson. And Arakawa knew it. He understood that every second he stayed close, every body shot he shoved into the ribs, every moment he made this fight dirty and physical, he was drawing Linares closer to that uncomfortable place. But Linares, for now, was in command. His combinations shimmered. His timing was razor-sharp. He ripped uppercuts from long range, fired right hands that snapped Arakawa's head back, and kept circling, as if drawing a perimeter around his challenger. Still, the Japanese fighter never stopped. Round after round, he pushed forward, forced the fight inside, and leaned his weight on Linares during clinches. If Linares was painting a masterpiece, Arakawa was smudging the canvas with raw, unfiltered pressure. By the middle rounds, the fight transformed into something deeper, a battle of wills. Linares had won every round on paper, but Arakawa had won something equally dangerous: momentum in the shadows. Each passing minute forced Linares to work harder than he wanted to. His counters were sharp, punishing, elegant. He snapped the Japanese fighter's head with left uppercuts, curled hooks around the guard, and dug right hands into the ribs. But Arakawa welcomed all of it. Every shot he took made him march faster. Every flurry he absorbed became fuel. And then came the subtle shifts, the kind that only seasoned fighters feel. Linares began trading, just a touch too long in the pocket. He started admiring his combinations, staying a split second too close after firing. And Arakawa used those seconds like wedges. He pressed Linares to the ropes, hammered at the body, rigged short uppercuts inside. And then came the moment that changed the complexion of the fight. A clash of heads, unnoticed by the referee at first, tearing open a cut above Linares' right eye. Blood trickled fast, running down his cheek, forcing him to blink against the sting. For Arakawa, this was opportunity. He surged forward with renewed fury, treating the wound like a target. Linares responded with veteran poise, peppering Arakawa with right hands, circling away, firing shots in combinations of 3, 4, 5 punches. Yet the pressure didn't fade. In fact, the more Linares tried to stay perfect, the more Arakawa dragged him into imperfection. The Japanese warrior wasn't just trying to win exchanges, he was trying to break the rhythm, crack the confidence, and drown the technician in a flood of constant presence. And for the first time, the crowd felt it. Linares was still ahead, but the danger was real, hanging over the ring like an approaching storm. Round after round, the war intensified. Linares continued to shine offensively, ripping combinations that echoed through the venue. His left uppercut found a home repeatedly, punishing Arakawa each time the Japanese fighter stepped in. His footwork, even with the swelling and the blood, remained elegant, threading him through danger like a dancer in a storm. But Arakawa refused to be swept aside. He threw himself into every exchange, investing heavily to the body, bending Linares over with short hooks, trying to drain the air from the Venezuelan's lungs. The clash of styles created breathtaking sequences, Linares firing lightning-quick combinations, Arakawa pushing through them like a force of nature, refusing to let the artist paint at his own pace. The crowd rose with every exchange. There were moments when Linares looked like pure brilliance, a man in flow, delivering masterclass sequences that only the elite could produce. But then came moments when Arakawa seemed to impose his will, backing Linares up, tearing at his ribs, forcing ugly, grinding exchanges that slowly chipped away at the Venezuelan's comfort. The cut over Linares' eye worsened, prompting the referee to call in the ringside doctor. The crowd held its breath. The fight continued, but the sense of urgency grew like a tightening rope around the ring. Every second counted now. Linares responded with powerful right hands and fluid combinations, refusing to let blood or fatigue steal the performance he was delivering. Arakawa, sensing the fight slipping away on points, continued to pour on pressure, hoping to force a late collapse. It was courage against precision, grit against brilliance, and both men refused to give an inch. By the time they reached the 9th and 10th rounds, the respect between them was etched in sweat and bruises. Two warriors who spoke different languages but understood violence the same way. The final round erupted like a roar. Arakawa charged out immediately, trying to surprise Linares, trying to turn the tide with sheer determination. Linares, despite the blood, despite the swelling, met him head-on, trading in the center of the ring with controlled aggression. Every second felt like its own battle, Arakawa hammering the body, Linares firing counters with surgical precision. Both fighters were exhausted, yet both seemed unwilling to take a backward step in those final minutes. They exchanged short hooks, uppercuts, right hands, each moment captured by the crowd's swelling voice. At one point, Linares smiled through the blood. Arakawa grinned back. Their mutual respect forged in violence. The doctor had warned the cut was dangerous. The referee reminded them of the stakes, and both fighters responded like warriors, unwilling to let fate decide their story. Linares closed the show with clean combinations, turning Arakawa's forward motion against him with sharp timing and elite reflexes. Arakawa, knowing he needed a knockout, bit down and charged until the final bell. But Linares' ring IQ and precision kept him one step ahead. When the bell finally rang, the arena erupted, both fighters slumping into each other for a brief embrace. They had given everything, left nothing in reserve, and written another chapter in lightweight history. The judges' scorecards read unanimously for Jorge Linares, every round in his favor. But no one saw the fight as a shutout. Arakawa had made it a war. He had forced Linares to dig, to bleed, to prove his heart matched his skill. And as Linares' hand was raised, his golden reputation grew once more. A brilliant victory, a brutal fight, a night that showcased the artist and the warrior, and the beautiful violence that happens when the two collide.